Hi, I'm Cheryl Seaton, Certified Better Bones and Balance Instructor. Welcome to Better Bones and Balance Online, class number 1. I'm so glad you're here. Let me just mention 4 things to keep in mind today as we work out. 1, we're coordinating our breathing with our movements to give our bodies the energy necessary for the work we're asking them to do. 2, we're maintaining good posture and correct alignment as we move to avoid injuries. 3, we're listening to our bodies so we know when to modify any movements that are causing discomfort, and we know when to let ourselves rest and when to get a drink of water. 4, we're remembering if it hurts, we don't do it. So let's get started on this online adventure. I'm moving back into my workspace, my exercise space. It's a nice uncluttered exercise space, and I have my sturdy chair next to me. I have my other equipment and water placed to the side out of the way for now. We'll use all that stuff later. So let's begin by establishing good posture. We're standing with our feet a comfortable distance apart. Our toes are pointed straight ahead. Let's sink into our knees just slightly and begin to shift our weight around our feet. Looking for all 4 corners of our feet to be firmly planted on the earth. So once we find that, let's straighten our knees and then just add a slight bend in the knee so we don't injure the joints. Now we're shifting our weight back into our heels and aligning our knees with our ankles. Moving up to the hips, we'll rotate the pelvis forward and align the hips with the knees. Moving up to the upper torso, we're lifting the chest, rolling the shoulders back and down, but keeping the chest lifted. And finally, shifting the chin back so that our ears can align with our shoulders, which are now aligned with our hips, our knees, and our ankles. So that's our good posture, all that nice alignment. Let me show you this from the side. So I'll turn to the side. So this alignment is just like we have a board of our back. So that's what we're looking for every time we come to good posture, which is many times during our class. So starting from our good posture, we're moving into some warm-up exercises. We're looking straight ahead right here. We're inhaling here as we're looking straight ahead in neutral and exhaling, turning our head to look to the side. Inhaling back to neutral and exhaling, turning to look to the other side. Inhaling back to neutral, exhaling, looking to the side. Inhaling back to neutral, exhaling, looking to the other side. Inhaling back to neutral. Let's finish that breath and we'll change our head movement to look up and down. So we're inhaling here in neutral. We're exhaling, lifting our chin to the sky. Inhaling back to neutral. Exhaling, tucking the chin toward the chest. Inhaling back to neutral, lifting to the sky. Exhaling back to neutral and tucking to the chest. And bringing our gaze back to the center, into neutral. Taking a breath, finishing that breath. Feels good. All right, moving to our arms, we're turning our palms to face backward, and then we'll be lifting our arms shoulder height. So we're coordinating the movement with our breathing, inhaling here in neutral, and exhaling as we lift the arms shoulder height. Inhaling and lowering down, and exhaling, lifting, inhaling, lowering down, and exhaling, lifting, inhaling, lowering down, and exhaling, lifting, inhaling, lowering down. Let's turn the palms of the face in toward our torso, and we'll change this movement to move to the side. So we're inhaling our arms shoulder height out to the side, and then lowering down to neutral. And inhaling up, and lowering down. I'm a little close to my chair, so I think I'll move over. Inhaling up and lowering down. And inhaling up and lowering down. Very nice. We're taking this movement into a bigger movement, lifting our arms overhead. So just remember, if your body is not ready to lift your arms overhead, if your shoulders are telling you, no, I don't think I want to do that, then we listen to our bodies and we don't do it. We can just stay with the shoulder height movement. So here we go. Inhaling our arms up overhead, all the way up, and then exhaling, lowering down. And inhaling up overhead, and exhaling, lowering down. Let's take them to the side. Inhaling out to the side, exhaling, lowering down. Inhaling out to the side, exhaling, lowering down. I forgot to go overhead, so let's do that. Inhaling overhead, and exhaling, lowering down. And inhaling overhead, and exhaling, lowering down. Very nice. Shake that out. Move your legs around a little bit. They get tired standing in one place, so we want to just give them a rest a little bit. So now we're moving into some shoulder work. So we're coming back to our good posture. Roll the shoulders back and down, lift the chest, align the ankles, the knees, the hip, the shoulder, and the ears. The ears are the hardest. We're not used to pulling our chin back to get the ears in line with our shoulders. So just keep trying. We'll get the hang of it as we go on. All right, so moving into some shoulder work here, or some torso work actually. We're inhaling, lifting the chest, and then exhaling, tilting over to the side. Reaching one hand down toward the knee, doesn't have to touch it, and then coming back up on the inhale, and exhaling, tilting to the other side. And inhaling to neutral, exhaling, tilting. Inhaling to standing tall, exhaling, tilting. Let's just do a couple more. Inhaling, standing tall, exhaling, tilting and reaching. Inhaling, standing tall, exhaling, tilting and reaching. And bring it back to neutral and shake it. So you notice we're starting to coordinate our breathing with our movements. That's what we want to do for the whole class. It's hard to remember all the time. I will cue it a lot of times. Sometimes I don't, but just try to remember. So let's come back to that good posture, grounding the feet, moving the weight into the heels, straightening the knees, aligning them over the ankles, rotating the pelvis forward, shoulders back and down, chest lifted, chin back, and ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles aligned correctly. So noticing when we breathe that when we're standing nice and tall in our good posture, we kind of breathe a little bit better. Feels pretty good. We're moving now into some hip circles to start warming up our hip area. So we're going to take our hips and push them backward, then take them to the side, rotate them to the front and to the side. Backward and side, front and side. So breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And let's stop that motion. And what we do in one direction, we want to do in the other direction. So we're going to take the other direction, taking our hips back and then taking to the side the other way. And around to the front and to the side. Inhaling and exhaling and keeping it going with our breath. And bringing that back to a stop and coming back to our good posture. Taking a breath here. We're moving into a little warm up for our ankles and our knees. This one's called a knee pop. So to do a knee pop, we simply lift our heel off the floor, bringing the weight to the ball of our foot, and that automatically bends our knee forward. So that's the pop part, the knee pop part going forward. So we put the heel down, lift it up again, and pop that knee forward, and lower down, and lift, and lower, and pop, and lower, knee pop, and lower, knee pop, and lower. Good. Let's change to the other side. So coming back through to that good posture, making sure we're well grounded, lifting the heel on the other side, popping the knee forward and lowering down, and lifting and popping and lowering down. So let's think about our breathing with this. This is a faster movement, so we can inhale on one pop and exhale on the second pop. So inhaling and exhaling. Good. All right, so let's shake that out. Very nice. All right, so this next movement requires us to stand on one foot. So we're going to move a little closer to the chair where we can place our hand on the chair just to make sure we have balance and we're not going to be worried about falling over. So coming back to that good posture, as we always do, we're starting this exercise by shifting our weight toward the chair. We're going to lift the outside leg, lift the knee up. Now notice when we shift to the chair, we still keep good posture, and then put that knee down on the floor, or put that foot down on the floor. So shifting the other direction, lifting the leg closest to the chair and lower down. This is kind of a method that I'm using to keep us moving together. I'm going to say move your weight toward the chair, lift the outside leg, and then move your weight away from the chair, lift the leg that's closest to the chair. So shift the weight, lift the knee, put the foot down, shift and lift. So on the shift, we're inhaling. On the lift, we're exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. And let's give that a rest. So shake it out. Okay. So now we've done our warm-ups for our body from head to toe. And we're moving in to some, whoops, I didn't do knees. We have to do our knees. So we're not quite done with warm-ups. Let's move a little bit closer to the chair. So stand up nice and tall in our good posture. I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see what's happening with my legs and my feet a little bit better. So we're standing in good posture. That's our first part. And we're taking the outside leg, shifting back, reaching it back behind us. I want to turn so you can see this. Reaching that outside leg back behind us. There we go. Heel is lifted so that we can bend our knees without any stretch, too much stretch in the back leg. And then we want to be sure that our weight is between our feet, equally between our feet. So this one is a knee bend. We're bending both knees, lowering down, and then pushing through the feet to stand tall. That's all it is. The upper body doesn't move. We're keeping it nice and tall, bending the knees and straightening up. And bending the knees and straightening up. And of course, we need to breathe, inhaling on the way down and exhaling on the effort to push ourselves up. Inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. Let's push off that back foot to bring it forward and step our feet together. And now moving to the other side, I think you'll be able to see that one just fine. Standing nice and tall in our good posture, we're taking the leg closest to the chair, reaching it back, putting the ball of the foot on the floor for a wide stance. The heel is lifted. Our weight's in the middle of both feet. We're bending our knees and then pushing through the feet to stand tall. Inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up. And keeping it moving with our breath. Nice, easy movement. Warming up our knees just a little bit bigger. And lowering and lifting. Lowering and lifting. Let's push off that back foot. Bring our feet together. Coming back to our good posture. And taking a breath. And now we're done with our warm-ups from head to toe. So shaking that out a little bit, taking a few breaths, getting ready to start moving. It's time for us to start moving. So in this next part, we're using a lot of movement to bring our heart rates up and prepare ourselves for the aerobic part of the class. So I'm going to be moving from side to side and going around my chair on this first movement. It's just simply stepping side to side. So I'm going to step forward just a little bit so I'll have room to go around my chair. So coming back to good posture, taking a breath, and we're stepping to the side. So let's move as a mirror image, moving in the same direction. We're stepping to the side and stepping together, and stepping to the side and stepping together. So now I'm going to make a little elliptical motion around my exercise space. At home, you can move however you want around your exercise space. So just keep doing side together, side together. Here we go. And side together, side together, side together, all the way back to the front. Whoops, you lost me there. Side together, okay. So what we do in one direction, we need to do in the other direction. So we're moving in the other direction, side together, side together, side together, side together, side together, side together. Keep it going. And coming back to the center and shake that out. All right, so you might notice we're getting a little bit bigger movement in our hips. And you might start feeling that a little bit. We're doing just a couple more things going to the side before we're done with all of this. So let's come back to our good posture and take a breath. And now we're moving into a little marching. So when we march in Better Bones and Balance, we're lifting our knees up higher than normal. So we're shifting the weight, lifting the knee, putting the foot back down, shifting the weight again. And of course, we want to breathe with this. So when our feet are on the floor, we're inhaling. When we lift our knee, we're exhaling. And really, we're not shifting so much as just changing from one foot to another. Let me move back a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. There we go. Inhaling, feet on the floor, exhaling, lifting the knee. Now, if you're moving faster than that, you can take an inhale on one lift and an exhale on the other lift. So that might be more comfortable when we start moving a little bit faster. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And let's bring that to a stop. Shake it out. All righty, so pretty good. We might feel that our heart rate is starting to come up. We can kind of feel it in our chest maybe, and for sure, we'll feel our breathing becoming a little shallower. So that's a perfect sign that we're raising our heart rate. So let's come back to our good posture. We're moving into another sideways step. You'll figure out pretty soon that I'm a dancer. I've been dancing for a lot of years, even before I started teaching exercise. So I always incorporate dance moves in my class. So here's one of them right now. We're moving to the side. It's a side together step again. So side, step together, side, and touch. Now we're moving the other direction. Side, step together, side, and touch. Side, 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 together. Keep it going. Now, if you're having trouble getting the footwork right, that's okay. Just keep trying. Side, together, side, and touch. Side, together, side, and touch. We're changing this up now. We're taking the leg across and tapping in front. Side, together, side, tap, front. Side, together, side, tap, front. Side, together, side, tap, front. Side, together, side, and we might speed up. Side, together, side, tap. Side, together, side, tap. Side, together, side, tap. Side, together, side, tap. Two more. Side, together, side, that's one. Side, together, side, and tap. Two. Shake it out. Okay, so now you're feeling a little bit of heart rate elevation and a little bit of shallower breathing. That's okay, that's what we're after. All right, we're coming back to our chair now. we're going to start into our circuit. So our 5 key exercises, and the 5 of them together make a circuit. And we'll do repetitions of each exercise, and then we'll repeat the circuit again later on in class. So that's kind of how the class is structured. And so moving into our very first of our 5 key exercises, which is stepping. Now, in our classroom, we have these wonderful stepping platforms that are about 6-inch rise off the floor, and they're very sturdy and they work very nicely for our stepping exercises. Here at home, we probably don't have that kind of equipment. So we're just doing our stepping exercises for the purposes of these classes, just on the floor. So we'll do the same footwork, but we'll just stay on the floor. So the first one is called a basic step. We're going to come to our good posture and put a hand on the chair just for balance, because we don't know yet how our balance is doing today. Moving into basic step, it's 2 steps forward and 2 steps backward. So we're going to start with the one leg. It doesn't matter which one, because we're going to change sides and start with the other. So leading off with 1 foot, we're stepping forward, stepping together, and taking that first foot back, 2nd foot together. So forward, together, back, together. Forward, together, back, together. Forward, together, back, together. Forward, together, back, together. Okay, we need to do it on the other side. So coming back to that good posture to start, inhaling and stepping forward, together, back, together. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. 1 more, and back together. That was our stepping. Shake it out. We're moving to the chair now. I have to move my chair so that you can see my feet, but wherever you are in your room and your chair is next to you, you may not have to move the chair. So when we come to the chair, we're sitting down, and right after stepping, it feels really good to sit down. So take advantage of it while I talk about some of the things we need to remember when we're sitting in the chair. So when we're sitting in the chair, we sit on the forward part of the chair, about the forward half. And we have some distance between the back of the chair and our body. So there's some distance here. Now, if this is an uncomfortable position to sit, we could use our pillow and put it behind our back. But we're not going to stay here for a long time on this particular exercise, so it might not be worth getting the pillow out right now. Although some people like to use the pillow for the actual exercise. So let me go through the technique of the exercise, and then I'll show you what to do with the pillow. All right, so we're sitting toward the front edge of the chair. Always when we're sitting, we want our feet out in front of us. We want a 90-degree angle with our legs. So it takes our feet away from the chair, out about a foot. We'll roll our shoulders back and down, sit up nice and tall, lift that chest, bring the chin back. So we align our ears and our shoulders over our hips. All right, so from here, we're standing up out of the chair. So this is a big movement, a big muscle builder. So we want to do it correctly. So our feet out in front of us make a platform for our weight to balance on when we stand up. And we're sitting nice and tall. We're inhaling, reaching our arms. No, we're inhaling, sitting nice and tall. We're exhaling, reaching our arms forward, picking our weight up and standing up. And then inhaling, coming back down to sitting. Now you notice the feet haven't moved. So we're exhaling, lifting up to standing, inhaling, sitting down. Exhaling, lifting up to standing. Inhaling, sitting down. All right, so let's pause right there for a second. We've done half. I forgot to say that our magic number today is 6. We're doing 6 repetitions of every one of the 5 exercises. So right here, though, I want to pause and talk a little bit about the pillow. So people who are tall and find when they sit down in the chair, their knees are way up here by their chin, or people who have some problems or issues or just some little concerns around their knee joints might want to give themselves a little assist in doing this raise up out of the chair. It's called a chair raise. So I'm going to show you that. Taking the trusty little pillow that we have in our toolkit, we'll just place the pillow on the chair and then sit down toward the front edge of the chair. Again, establishing our 90-degree angle and our toes pointed straight ahead. And now we've got just a little bit of a raise in our hips, which will make it easier on our knees when we stand up. So let's finish 3 chair raises. You don't have to use your pillow, but if you think you need a pillow, then you can use it. All right, here we go. Inhaling, sitting tall. Exhaling, lifting up out of the chair. Inhaling, sitting tall. Exhaling, standing up. Inhaling, sitting, and exhaling, standing, and sitting one more time. Very good. So that was 6. We did the other half. 3 more. All right, so now we're standing up. I have to move my chair back. You may not. I'm going to move the pillow as well. We don't need the pillow for lunges. So that's next. Putting my chair right here. And we're moving into forward lunges. We do 2 kinds of lunges, forward lunges and side lunges. But right now, we're starting with the forward lunges. So we're starting holding onto the chair for a little bit of balance, coming back to that good posture, taking a breath. So we'll be starting by shifting our weight toward the chair, using the leg that's away from the chair. We're lifting that knee forward. We've done this before. We're extending the leg and stepping out to a wide stance, which was also done before. We're picking that heel up and back. And now, keeping the chest lifted, we're lowering down, bending the knees. And the final thing is to push off the front foot to bring that foot back to standing. Good posture. Inhaling, we're stepping out over a curve and lowering down. Exhaling, pushing off to come back. So shifting the weight, lifting the knee, extending, stepping out over a curve, bringing the heel up behind, lowering down, pushing off to come back. Let's do 3 more. Lifting up, stepping out, lowering down, pushing off. And breathing, inhaling as we go out and down, exhaling on the big push off. And 1 more, inhaling out and down, exhaling on the push off. Very nice, shake it out. So what we would do on one side, we have to do on the other side. So coming back to that good posture, now we're using the leg that's closest to the chair. So inhaling, lifting the knee up, extending the leg out to that wide stance, the heel comes back behind. We're lowering the knees and then pushing off that front foot to come back. So inhaling, lifting up, stepping out, lowering down, exhaling, pushing off to come back. Inhaling, out and down, exhaling, pushing off. So we're thinking about stepping out over a curve. It's exaggerated, the movement is definitely exaggerated, but it's teaching our bodies to notice that curve and step over it. 1 more time, out and down, and push it off to come back. Shake it out. So the other thing we have to remember when we're doing our forward lunges is to keep the upper body lifted so that we have good posture and good alignment. Our weight is right in the center of the feet. Okay, so we're moving into side lunges now. For side lunges, we're going to face the chair and put both hands on the chair. Come back to our good posture. So the reason we want both hands on the chair for side lunges is because side lunges take us into a little bit of an off-balance position because we shift our weight back behind us and we want to be sure that we don't fall. So coming to that good posture, taking a breath or 2. We're using the foot that's moving toward each other. So I'm going to move toward you and you're going to move toward me. All right, here we go. Shifting the weight, we're lifting the forward leg. We're stepping out to a wide stance. Now I'm going to modify this for this first series, first circuit. so that we do just a warm up for the side lunges, because we haven't really done a lot of hip warm up here today. So we're taking this wide stance. The first thing we need to remember is that our toes are pointed straight ahead. The next thing we're doing is bending our knee, that's moving toward each other. Bending that knee, we're taking our weight over to that foot. But not only that, we're pushing our hips back and down so that the weight comes into our heel. And that way, we align the knee and the ankle into a straight line. And then we're pushing through that leg to stand tall. So try that again. Bring the weight over to that foot, bend the knee, push the hip back and down, and then push through the leg to stand tall. So shifting the weight, pushing the hip back and down, pushing through the leg to stand tall. Shifting, lowering, and pushing to stand tall. So our breathing is to shift and lower as we inhale, and exhale, push to stand tall. Shift and lower, exhale, pushing to stand tall. All right, so we did that one side, we have to do the other side, of course. So coming back to that good posture to start, taking a couple of breaths, and then moving in the opposite direction. We're shifting our weight over to that foot, bending the knee, pushing the hips back and down, and then pushing through that leg to stand tall. So shifting, hip back and down, pushing through the leg to stand tall. Shifting, hip back and down, pushing through the leg to stand tall. Shifting and pushing to stand tall. Inhaling as we go over and down, exhaling as we come back. We have one more, shifting and pushing through the leg to stand tall. Let's push off both feet and bring them together, and then shake them out. Okay, side lunges. When we get to the second circuit, we're going to do side lunges with this step out, just like we've done the forward lunges. But I wanted to warm up the hips really well before we do that. So shaking it out, we're moving into our fourth of the 5 exercises. Again, at the back of the chair, holding on. Standing nice and tall in our good posture. Our toes are pointed straight ahead, feet a comfortable distance apart. And we're doing heel raises now. So heel raises are just like they sound. We're lifting our heels up off the floor. We're bending our foot at the ball of the foot. We're going to balance on the balls of both feet. So we'll lift both heels, balance on the balls of the feet. So we want that good posture to start. Inhaling with our heels on the floor, and exhaling, raising our heels up so we come to balance on the balls of the feet. And lowering down on the inhale, and lifting up on the exhale, and lowering down on the inhale, and lifting and lowering. So keep it going with your breath. And this is the last one, lifting and lowering. Very good, shake it out. Okay, so we've done the 4th exercise now. We're on the 5th exercise in our circuit. And the 5th exercise is stomps. So stomps are exactly what they sound like. We're impacting our foot on the floor just like we're angry at something and maybe throwing a little temper tantrum. So let's start with 1 foot at a time. So we'll start in our good posture, of course, and then sink down into our knees just a little bit. We're going to shift our weight to stand on one side and pick up the other foot and stomp it down to the floor. And stomp. So we pick it up and put it down hard. And put it down hard. And put it down hard. And stand up nice and tall. And shake it out if you need to. All right. I forgot to talk about some reasons that we might not want to do stomps, or we might be prevented from doing stomps. And they're very important, so let's do that right now. So the most important reason we wouldn't do stomps is if we already have a diagnosis of osteoporosis. We've had a bone density test, and the results showed that we have osteoporosis in our spine, our hip. So then in that case, we do not do stomps. because we can aggravate that osteoporosis condition by doing our stomps. So we need to work on our other exercises to build our bones and get ourselves back out of osteoporosis so that then we can do stomps. So there is a precursor to osteoporosis, and it's called osteopenia. And that is also detected on a bone scan. And osteopenia is sort of, you're almost into osteoporosis, so you have to be careful. But if you have osteopenia, it's the perfect time to strengthen your bones and back out of the osteoporosis and osteopenia course. So if you have osteopenia, you can do stomps. If you don't know, you can do stomps as long as it doesn't hurt your hip, your knee, your ankle, your feet. So just keep that in mind. If you already know you have a diagnosis of osteoporosis, don't do stomps. So if we don't do stomps, what do? We choose some other exercise. Many people just choose to march in place, which is just fine. Keeps the heart rate up, keeps us using our muscles and moving around. So that's just fine. Otherwise, I say choose your favorite exercise out of all the exercises we do and just do it when you need to. All right, so those of us who don't have osteoporosis, who don't have pain when we do stomps, we're moving into the other side of stomps. So let's come back to our good posture. Take a breath or two, sink into our knees slightly, shift our weight over to the other side, and now pick up that foot and bring it down with a little force into the floor. We want to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. One more, and let's give that a rest. So shake it out. All right, so impact exercises are very important, and we'll talk a lot more about what we do, what makes those impact exercises important in later classes. So just stay tuned. We'll talk about it some more. All right, so we finished the 5 exercises now for our circuit. We didn't do them very fast because we were talking about doing them correctly today. So when we get to the second circuit, we'll do them a little faster. All right, so now we're gonna move our chair. Well, at least I'm gonna move my chair. We're gonna sit down in the chair again. I'm gonna move my chair so you can see my feet. And sit down again. And of course, we're sitting down toward the front edge of the chair. We have the 90-degree angle in our legs and our toes are pointed straight ahead. We're lifting our chest, rolling our shoulders back and down, bringing our chin back to align our ears over our shoulders in our good posture, and taking a couple breaths. So even though we're sitting down, it's kind of a break in class, but we're still moving. We're moving into some lower body exercise work. We're going to work on muscles in our legs and our feet, and in our core, the center of our body, in the front and in the back. So here we go. Sitting nice and tall, in good posture, we're going to start by raising our knees. So it's the same movement we did standing several times now, but it's a more concentrated effort to work on our abdominal muscles. So core exercise in particular, and we're also working on the upper thighs, the quadricep muscles right here. So sitting up nice and tall, we're inhaling in neutral. I'm going to move my hands out of the way so they're not hampering the movement. We're inhaling in neutral. As we exhale, we're going to squeeze our belly button back toward our spine and lift one knee off the floor. Lift your foot off the floor, lift your knee up, foot off the floor. And lower down on the inhale and sort of readjust, lift the chest. Exhale, squeeze and lift the other knee. And lower down and squeeze and lift. And inhale, lower. Squeeze and lift. Inhale, lower. Squeeze and lift. Inhale, lower. Squeeze and lift. Inhale, lower. So even though we're sitting still in this chair, we are doing a lot of work with our abdominal muscles and our quadricep muscles. So shake them out a little bit, That kind of means bounce them so that you just get the blood flowing in the legs again and they feel a little bit more relaxed. So let's come back to sitting nice and tall. Now we're going to work on some other feet and leg movements. And in this segment, many times we work a lot on brain work. So these next two exercises are some brain work here, as well as doing our exercises, strengthening our muscles and our bones. So here we go. We're sitting up nice and tall. We're moving into a heel dig. Simply, we're picking one foot up off the floor, then extending the leg and putting the heel out in front of us, pointing the toe right up to the sky. So our ankle is flexed. All right, so that's a heel dig, and then we're going to put that foot back on the floor and move to the other side. So pick the foot up, extend the leg, put the heel on the floor, toes to the sky, and then pick it up and put that foot back on the floor. So heel digs, and we want to breathe while we do them, of course. So inhaling as we put it out, exhaling, bringing it back. No, let's change that. I got my breathing backwards today, but we'll fix that. All right, so when our feet are on the floor, that's when we're inhaling. When we exhale, we put that heel out to the floor. And inhale, bring it back. And exhale, take it out. Inhale, bring it back. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. Keep it going with the breath. A few more. Few more. And let's bring that to a stop. So those were heel digs. A little brain work because we're changing sides. We have to place our feet in a certain way. So it just keeps our brains thinking about it. All right, so this one is an opener. We're gonna open our leg to the side. It opens the hip joint. So it rotates the leg, the top of the femur, rotates in the hip socket to open that leg. So it's a rotation there. So let's try that. Sitting up nice and tall and in our good posture, we're lifting the foot off the floor again. So we're inhaling with our feet on the floor, exhaling, lift the foot, rotate in the hip and open the foot out to the side. Toes are pointing in the direction of the side and then bring it back. And now we're going to the other side. Inhale with the feet on the floor, exhale, lift and open out, and inhale, come back, and changing sides. Exhale and inhale, and open and close, and open and close, and try to sit up nice and tall, stand toward the front edge of the chair, and open and close, and open and close. We're doing one more on each side. Open and close, and open and close. Very good. Shake out those legs. Now, my particular chair is built in a fashion that makes me slide back, so I have to readjust. So if you do too, then take this opportunity to readjust. Okay, so just a little more brain work now. We're going to combine the heel dig and the hip opener. So here we go, sitting up nice and tall. Inhaling with our feet on the floor, exhaling, digging the heel forward, inhaling, putting the foot back, exhaling, opening to the side, inhaling, bringing it back, and the other side, dig and step and open and close. Change sides, dig and step and open and close. Dig and step and open and close. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So keep it going with the breath. So kind of let your breath be the guide for the rhythm. If you're breathing slower, then slow down the movement. If you're breathing faster, increase the speed of the movement. Last one, heel dig and step and open and step. Good, shake it out. All right, so one more exercise here. Actually, we're gonna do a stretch to help our muscles relax a little bit. We've worked them pretty hard up to this point, and we want them to feel good, so we want to relax them just a little bit. Sitting up nice and tall in our good posture. We're taking one heel out to a heel dig. So we're inhaling our feet on the floor. Exhale, taking the foot to the heel dig, toe pointing right up to the sky. On this one, as we inhale, we're going to lift the same arm as leg that's extended and extend that arm shoulder height. We're inhaling, lifting the chest, and then exhaling, hinging from the hip right here. Nice long spine, keeping the neck and head in line, reaching out as far as we can go. And then we're letting this arm just sort of drop down. It can rest on a leg, can rest on a toe, can touch the floor, whatever feels comfortable for us. And we'll settle into the stretch by just letting our shoulders settle, bringing our eyes to gaze at the floor. We want to tuck that chin, bring the neck in line with the spine, and just breathe through this stretch. Relaxing the knee, we're looking for a stretch up the back of the leg. So depending on how tight your muscles are, you may need to go down a little lower into the stretch to get more stretch. Or if your muscles are really tight, you might need to lift your shoulders up a little bit just to have a stretch and no pain. So we want to be sure that we have a good alignment and a nice stretch, and we're just breathing into it and letting the stretch happen. And then when we're ready, we need to support our spine as we come to sitting tall. So we're going to squeeze our belly button and lift the shoulders and the arm and come back to sitting tall, and then lower the arm and bring the foot in, and then shake it out. So that was our nice hamstring stretch here as we're sitting in the chair. So we can do a lot of things standing or sitting or lying down, and we take advantage of doing all of those things during class. So here we go, we're doing the other side. So inhaling with the feet on the floor, exhaling as we stretch out to the heel dig, toe to the sky. Inhaling the arm up, exhaling, reaching forward and coming into that stretch. Relaxing the knee, bringing the neck in line with the spine, and just breathing. Hanging out here and feeling the stretch on the back of the leg, letting it happen, being nice to our muscles. Couple more breaths. And on the next inhale, we're going to squeeze our belly button and lift ourselves up. And bring that leg in and shake it out. Very good. Okay, so we're done with our lower body exercises for now. So we're going to stand up out of the chair. I'm moving my chair back to where it was. Of course, you can have your chair wherever it is, wherever you like it. And we're heading into our 5 key exercises again, doing our second circuit. As we go into the second circuit and through these 5 exercises, this time we're going to speed it up a little bit. So by the end of the 5 exercises, you'll probably be feeling a little bit of heart elevation, a little bit of shallow breath, and probably some spaghetti legs. Okay, so shake it out right now. We're moving into stepping, and we're going to place our hand on the chair for balance. Standing nice and tall in our good posture. Using, we're doing a different move for stepping this time. We're adding a knee raise. So using the leg that's away from the chair, we're going to step forward and then take the leg closest to the chair and lift the knee forward. And then take that same leg, step it back, and then step back with the first foot, but do a touch right here because we're going to lead off with that foot again. So we're leading forward, lifting the knee, stepping back and touch. Step forward and lift, back and touch. Forward and lift, back and touch. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Good. Shake it out. And changing sides, we're leading off now, this time, with the foot that's closest to the chair. Keeping our hand on the chair for balance, starting in our good posture, and stepping forward, lifting the knee, stepping back and touch. Step and lift and back and touch. Step and lift and back and touch. Step, lift, back and touch. Step and lift. Last time, step and lift and back and touch. Very good. Shake it out. We're coming to the front of our chair. Again, I turn my chair around. And this time we're standing in front and doing a variation of the chair raise. So this one we call almost sit. It's really a squat, but it's easier to remember as an almost sit. So we start in our good posture, and I like to do this one with just a little bit wider stance than our kind of normal stance. So just maybe an inch or two wider. So standing in good posture. For the almost sit, it's exactly what it says. We're almost sitting in the chair and then standing up. So inhaling here in neutral, we're going to push our hips back, bring our arms forward to balance that, and then push through the legs to stand tall. So inhaling as we go down, almost sitting, and exhaling as we stand tall. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming back to that good posture each time, shifting so we push the hips back like we're sitting in the chair. And one more. Inhaling and exhaling, and shake it out. Very nice. So we're moving into our lunges now. We're standing to the side of the chair, hand on the chair for balance. Coming back to our good posture. We're using the leg away from the chair. We're stepping toward each other. So here we go. Inhaling, lifting the leg, stepping out, lowering down, exhaling, pushing back to come together. And inhaling out and down, exhaling, pushing off to come together. Inhaling, stepping out and over that curve, pushing off, back together. When we step out and down, the back heel comes off, and then we push back. Inhaling and exhaling. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Very nice. Shake it out. All right, moving to the other side, standing nice and tall. Good posture. Inhaling, lifting the leg up, stepping forward, lowering down, exhaling, pushing off to come back. Inhaling and exhaling. Watch that heel in the back. We lift it up as we go down and come back. Inhaling and exhaling. Two more. Inhaling and exhaling. The chest is lifted, the upper body's not moving. All right, shake it out. Very nice. Okay, moving into our side lunges. We'll face the chair, place our two hands on the chair, come back to our good posture. Take a couple of breaths here. We're going to need them. And now moving toward each other. This time, when we do our side lunges, we're lifting our leg up, knee up, stepping out to the side. So here we go. Lift the knee up, step out to the side, toes pointed straight ahead. That's an important component. Pushing the hips back and down, taking the weight in the same direction, and pushing off and coming back. Lifting, stepping out, hips back and down, pushing off. So we bend our knee, take the stance, bend the knee, and push off. Inhaling out, bend the knee, push the hip back and down, exhale on the push off. Inhaling out and down, and push off. One more. Inhaling out and down, and push off. Very good. Shake it out. All right, so we did one side, we have to do the other side. Coming to that good posture to start. Taking a breath, and inhaling, lifting the knee, stepping out, toes pointed straight ahead, continuing in that same motion, bend the knee, push the hip back and down, and push off to come back. Inhaling out, push the hip back and down, and come back. Inhaling out, push the hip back and down, push off to come back. Now for your first time, you might want to make this kind of a small stance. So don't go too far out. This is a difficult move. Last time. And bring it back. Okay, shake it out. So I'm feeling a little bit of heart rate elevation. My breathing is a little shallow. So that's what happens while we're doing our exercises. We're moving into our heel raises. It's a good cardio workout. So from here, Inhaling with our feet on the floor, exhaling, lifting those heels off the floor and lowering down. And exhaling, lifting up. We're coming to balancing on the balls of the foot and lift up and lower down. Exhaling, lifting up. Inhaling, lowering down. 2 more. Lifting and lowering and lifting and lowering. Very good. Check it out. So heel raises. So now we come to our stomps. And remembering, if we have a diagnosis of osteoporosis, we don't do stomps. Or if it hurts our hips, knees, ankles, feet, we don't do stomps. So up to you. Choose to just march in place or choose one of the other exercises that we've already done that you enjoyed. All right, here we go. This time we're going to do stomps just a little bit differently. We're going to shift our weight from side to side and change feet. So shifting the weight to one side, I'm going to step that direction and then stomp the other foot. Step side and stomp. Stepping side, stomping. Side, stomp. Side and stomp. So keep it going. Inhaling and exhaling. Giving it a little attitude on upset. There we go. Keep it going. 2 more. 1 and 2. And give it a rest. Shake it out. Okay, so we finished our second circuit. Good for us. Give ourselves a pat on the back for doing a good job coming through our second circuit today. So we might be feeling a little wobbly. We're going to sit down in the chair and do a few upper body exercises. So have a seat, sitting toward the front edge of the chair, 90-degree angle with the legs, toes pointed straight ahead. Nice posture, lifting the chest, shoulders roll back and down, breathing. We're moving into some upper body work here. So the first thing we're going to do is called a chest opener. It does involve opening the chest and breathing in a lot of oxygen to give our bodies a lot of energy. But most of the feeling part of the work is done with the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades either separating or squeezing together. So sitting up nice and tall in our good posture. First, we're going to separate the shoulder blades and bring both shoulders forward. And then inhale, take a nice deep breath, fill the lungs, and bring the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhaling, bringing it forward. Inhaling, squeezing. And releasing on the exhale. Squeezing on the inhale. Releasing on the exhale. Squeezing on the inhale. So nice work for the shoulders and for the rhomboid muscles right around the shoulder blades. So now we're working on core muscles behind us in the back. And exhale and inhale. And exhaling and inhaling. And bring that back to neutral. And maybe shake your shoulders out a little bit if you need to. Come back to our good posture. Roll the shoulders back and down, tuck the chin. And sitting up nice and tall, take a breath or two. All right, we're moving into some shoulder rolls now. So we're looking for flexibility in the shoulders when we're doing these shoulder rolls. We're going to take one arm out to the side, shoulder height. Turn the palm up and relax the elbow and the shoulder. We want a lot of space between the ear and the shoulder here. And then to start this move, we actually hike the shoulder up toward the ear. So we're going to lift it up and then roll forward with that shoulder and down. It turns the arm over. And then we're going to lift it up again toward the ear and roll backward and down. So we're looking for big motion in the shoulder. So the arm is just along for the ride. It's not making this motion happen. The shoulder is making the motion happen. So we're inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we roll forward and down, inhaling, lifting the shoulder, exhaling, rolling backward and down. Inhaling, lifting, exhaling, rolling forward. Inhaling, lifting, exhaling, rolling backward. Let's do one more. Inhaling, lifting, and rolling forward. And exhale, lifting, and rolling backward. Straighten out that arm, place the palm down, and just let it float down. Shake it out if you need to. Moving to the other side, coming back to our good posture. Inhaling the arm out to the side, shoulder height. We're turning the palm up, relaxing the shoulder and the elbow. So just let them come down, a lot of space right here between the ear and the shoulder. And now inhaling, hiking the shoulder up, and then exhale, rolling it forward and down. Inhaling, hiking it up, rolling forward and back, or backward and down, sorry. Inhaling up, rolling forward and down. Inhaling up, rolling backward and down. So you can see maybe on this side that we're kind of making a half of a circle with the shoulder, with the upper part, the outside of the shoulder right here. Just lift it up and push it forward and down, sort of like a rainbow, rainbow shape. That's the word I'm trying to find, shape. And up and roll it back. One more, inhaling, lifting, exhaling, rolling forward and down. Inhaling, lifting, exhaling, rolling backward and down. Straighten that arm, turn the palm down, and just let it come down nice and easy and shake it out. So that was a shoulder roll, and now we kind of feel like, whoa, we've moved those shoulders around, and they're feeling a little bit loosey-goosey. Okay, so coming back to that good posture, sitting up nice and tall, tuck the chin, take a breath or two. We're moving into a lateral flexion, which means we're going to lift our arm up overhead. It's a fancy word for that, I guess. All right, so we're starting with the elbow. We're lifting from the elbow. So inhaling, we'll lift our elbow up, keeping our arm bent until we just get it up here high enough to unfurl and reach over the head. Now again, we want to keep distance between the ear and the shoulder. So we're not lifting from the shoulder, but when we get the arm extended overhead, we're going to lift from the rib cage. So lift up from the rib cage and then make a fist. And like we're pulling something heavy off of the ceiling, we're going to pull it down with a little resistance. So we're using our own muscles here to resist against that movement. And coming back, we'll change sides. Inhaling, leading with the elbow first, and unfurling the arm, stretching the fingers, making a fist, and exhaling, pulling something heavy down off of the ceiling. And changing sides, inhaling, lifting up, lifting from the rib cage, and exhaling, pulling something down. And inhaling the other side up, lifting that rib cage and pulling something down. And inhaling, reaching up, and exhaling, pulling down. And inhaling, reaching up, and exhaling, pulling down. Very nice. Shake it out. Okay, so this last thing we're going to do, sitting for our upper body, we're stretching the spine. It's called a forward hinge, and it really feels good. So taking the arms down to the sides, rolling the shoulders back and down, establishing our good posture again, tucking that chin. We're inhaling, lifting the chest, and as we exhale, we're just hinging from the hips, moving the upper body forward. We can put our hands on our upper thighs to sort of control that movement. We want the neck to stay in line with the spine, so our eyes are gazing down at the floor. Now here's the work part of this. We'll squeeze the belly button back to the spine to support the spine as we inhale and lift our shoulders back up to sitting tall. Big work for the core here. Inhaling, lift the chest. Exhaling, hinging forward. As we inhale, we're squeezing the belly button and lifting the shoulders up. And exhaling, hinging forward again. So the spine is long, we're not bending in the center. Inhaling, squeeze and lift. Exhaling, hinging forward. So you can feel the work in the midsection, squeeze and lift. And hinge it forward. And then we feel a nice stretch in the spine all the way down to the tailbone. Feel that, how good it feels. And squeeze and lift. Now one more time, hinge it forward. Nice stretch for the spine, big work for the abdominal muscles. Squeeze and lift, and finish that breath. Very nice. So move your shoulders around, shake your arms around, move your head around if you need to, and just kind of relax out of all that big work that we were doing for the core, front and back. All right, so very good. We finished our or work for the 2 circuits, and we'll finish our lower body and upper body work. So let's stand up and maybe go get a drink of water. That's a good time for that. And then we'll move into some balance moves, then some strength training, and then finish the class with some stretching, either in the chair or on the floor, your choice. All right, so let's take a drink of water. All right, so moving back to the chair. We're working on some balance work here. So this is an important part of the class because trying to learn how to prevent falls is just so beneficial for us. Keeps us away from injuries, out of the hospital, away from all of those things that take away from the quality of our lives when we're over 50. So we're working on balance here. So let's just come to behind the chair with our hands on the chair. Come to our good posture. Roll the shoulders back and down. Bring that chin in line. So our ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles are in one nice straight line. Breathing, it feels good, easy to breathe when we're standing up nice and tall. So we're moving into some balance moves. We're taking our foot that's closest to each other. So we're going to step toward each other just slightly. Take that foot, step out to the side and point the toes to 2 o'clock. Or, could be 10 o'clock. Mine are pointing to 2 o'clock, yours could be pointing to 10 o'clock. So, and shift the upper body to face the same direction we pointed our toe. So our feet are just a little comfortable step apart, and one foot over here is still, the toes are still pointing straight ahead, but on this side, our toes are pointing at a diagonal. Okay, so we still have our good posture. We're sinking into our knees, and we're bringing our arms, let them float up, bend the elbows, and bring the hands in front of the shoulders. From here, we're moving into a nice Tai Chi move. It's called calming the waters. And the purpose is for us to shift our weight back and forth from one foot to the other without falling over. So we sunk into our knees. We're shifting our weight forward now. As we inhale, we're inhaling here, sinking into our knees and shifting the weight forward, exhaling, pushing our hands out, and then making a big circle around and coming back, shifting our weight back to the other foot. So shifting forward as we push out, and as we come back around, shifting the weight to the back foot. So shifting forward, bringing the arms out and around, shifting backward. Knees are bent, and shift forward and out and around and backward. So we're inhaling right here and exhaling as we push forward. Inhaling as we come back. Exhaling, pushing forward. Inhaling as we come back. So now this movement is teaching our bodies that we can shift our weight from one foot to the other without falling over. One more time. Exhaling as we move forward. Inhaling as we come back. Let's step our feet together and push our palms to the earth. Come back to our good posture. If we need to place our hands on the chair, that's just fine. Take a breath. And now we're doing the other side. So let's see how I can explain this better this time. So we're using the foot that's away from each other. We're stepping that foot out to the side slightly and pointing our toes to the diagonal of our room, and then turning our shoulders to face in the same direction. As we inhale, we'll bend our knees and bring our arms up in front so our hands are facing down toward the earth and our shoulder height, our elbows are bent out to the side. So inhale here again, and exhale, we'll push forward, shift our weight to the forward foot, Arms reach out, they circle around, and we come back to the back foot. So exhaling as we push out and around, inhaling, coming back. And exhaling out and around, inhaling, coming back. And shifting our weight, and shifting our weight. Calming the waters, that's also calming us. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. This time, as we inhale, we'll come back, step our feet together, and push our palms to the earth, and come back to our good posture. Taking a breath or two. All right, shake it out if you need to. All right, so our second balance exercise today is called tandem stand. It is one that we do a lot in Better Bones and Balance. It's the balance exercise that they used in the scientific studies to figure out if they were improving balance through the exercises. So here we go. It sounds simple, but it's not. So be prepared. Hold on to the chair to start. Come back to that good posture. Take a breath. Sink down into the knees just slightly, a little micro bend in the knees. Okay, so tandem stand means one foot in front of the other, heel to toe. So shifting the weight, we'll put one foot forward, bring the other foot back behind it, heel to toe, or toe to heel, I guess, whichever you want to call it. So coming back to our good posture and bringing the weight equally distributed, right in the middle, equally distributed between both feet. So we want our eyes gazing straight ahead. We're going to choose an object to look at straight ahead that we can focus our eyes on. And we want it to be an object that's not going to move. So if you have an animal in the room, for instance, don't watch your animal because they're going to move around your room. And don't watch a tree out the window that's moving around in the breeze because it's going to affect your balance. So we want to look at a stationary item. So gaze, find your focal point. It's called a focal point. Find your focal point, a stationary item, and breathe. And now keeping our good posture, keeping both feet firmly planted on the earth. Remember, all four corners of the feet need to be touching the earth. And then we're gently letting go with one hand. And if we're balanced there and feeling pretty sturdy, we can gently let go with the other hand. And the hands can just come out to the side. They can lower down to the side, wherever it feels good. If you need them out a little bit for balance, that's just fine. So this is not easy to do. If you're already feeling unbalanced, you can take hold of the chair again. You could just let your hands hover above the chair while you're attempting to balance, and then you can touch it when you need to. Touch it when you need to. If you fall out of this balance, then just come back, reestablish your base, sink into the knees, and try again. Remembering to focus the eyes. And more importantly, remembering to breathe. This is the time when we start holding our breath because we're concentrating so much on trying to balance that we're forgetting to breathe. So remembering to breathe. It's always a good thing. All right, so let's take our hands back to the chair and then step out and shake out those legs. So a lot of work going on the legs. You might have noticed your ankles were wobbling side to side a little bit. And that's because we're trying to find that balance point. Our bodies, our brains are trying to find that balance point. So let's try the other side. Coming back to the chair, hands on the chair, coming back to that good posture, taking a breath or two, finding our focal point for our eyes. And we're stepping the other foot forward and bringing the foot behind it, toe to heel. Equalizing the weight right in the center between both feet. Feeling all four corners of the feet touching the earth. Sinking into our knees just slightly so that our ankles can do that little wobble to find the balance. Breathing. And when we're ready, when we feel calm, we'll let go. We might never be ready to let go today, so that's okay. We can just keep our hands on the chair, or we can one at a time lift a hand off the chair, We can let our hand hover above the chair so we can touch it if we need to when we feel like we're losing that balance. So whatever feels right for you today, breathing and balancing. One more breath here. Let's take our hands to the chair and then step our feet out of the exercise. Shake it out. So very good. Tandem stand. Very difficult to do, but you know, it's the stand that they use for sobriety tests, field sobriety tests by the police. I don't get it. I don't know why, because it's a very difficult move, even when you're sober, as we've seen just today. Okay, so we have come to the point in the class where we have finished all of the requirements for Better Bones and Balance exercise program. So pat yourself on the back again. Yay, we've done all the good work we need to do today. Shake it out. So the next two sections of the class are just a little bonus work. So if you're feeling tired and you need to take a break, this is the time to do it. You could just sit in the chair and watch the rest of the exercises, or you could say, I've had enough. You could turn us off and go about doing the rest of your day, or you could do the exercises with us. So we're moving into some upper body strength work. We're going to use our weights or whatever materials we decided to use for weights. And we'll finish the class with some cool down exercises, either in the chair or on the floor. So your choice. All right, so now's the time to go and find our weights, either our manufactured weights or our whatever our implements are that we gained from around the house that can help us work on our strength training exercises. So it's also a good time to get a drink of water. So let's do that now. I'm going to move my chair again so you can see what I'm doing. And then go get my water and my weights. Cheers again. I'm returning to the chair now with the weights. We'll have a sit down. And the same kind of sit down we always do, sitting toward the front edge of the chair, 90-degree angle with the legs, toes pointed straight ahead. Today I'm using my handy dandy little plastic containers filled with coins. And they're very hefty, so I think it was a good choice. When we're sitting down and when we're resting in between our upper body weight training exercises, we can take the weights and place them right here on the upper thigh and then let them stay there while we relax our arms and our hands. Move our arms around, move our fingers around, whatever. They stay nicely right there, except that one wanted to move. Anyway, that's a good place. It's a nice, hefty, strong muscle for holding on to those weights, and then we can have our hands free for a few minutes. Okay, so we're moving into upper body strength exercises, strength training exercises using weights. So I'm going to take the weights in my hands and drop them down to the side, roll the shoulders back and down so we're sitting in good posture. Tuck the chin, bringing those ears back over the shoulders, taking a couple of breaths. So a couple of things we need to do. Actually, you can bring your weights and put them back on the upper thigh because I'm going to talk again for a minute. So there are a couple of things we need to think about when we're using hand weights. And the first one is that we always want to keep a slight bend in the elbow. So let's see if you can see that, slight bend in the elbow, so that we don't injure the elbow joint. We want to take care of that joint, so a little bend in the elbow does the trick. The other thing we want to do is take care of our wrist joint. So we want the wrist to stay in line with the forearm. So there's a nice straight line right here from the elbow through the forearm and the wrist. So I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. We don't want the wrist to bend in one direction or bend in the other direction. We want the wrist to be straight ahead. So two things to think about. Always a little bend in the elbow, always the wrist in alignment with the forearm. So let's take hold of these weights again. Adjust our posture, sitting up nice and tall, taking a breath, bringing those shoulders down away from the ears. One of the things that always happens when we're using our hand weights is that our shoulders start lifting up, start tensing up, but we want to always think about keeping a lot of distance between our shoulders and our ears. So here we go, taking hold of the weights, we'll drop the weights down to the side, keep a little bend in the elbow, and align the wrists with the forearm. Eyes are straight ahead as well. We want to keep the neck in line with the spine. So we're inhaling here in neutral. We're going to keep our elbows nice and tight to the torso and bend our elbows, bringing the weights to a 90-degree angle. So now we're starting to use the muscles in the upper arm. And then inhale, lower down, and exhale, bend and lift up. And inhaling, lowering down, and exhaling, lifting up. Now you might notice that you're also wanting to use your abdominal muscles to help this out. That's just perfect. Squeeze the belly button and stabilize the spine and use those muscles to complement the muscles that are working in the arms. So inhaling, lowering, exhaling, lifting. Inhaling, lowering, exhaling, lifting. This is called a bicep curl. It's a very safe exercise as long as we keep the elbows nice and tight to the torso. So it's a good starting exercise. Lowering and lifting. And let's lower down and bring the weights to the upper thigh and give ourselves a little break. Shake our arms out. Maybe move the shoulders. If your neck is getting tense, kind of tilt your head from side to side. And take a breath or two and then come back, grab those weights and lower them down to the side again. Little bend in the elbow, nice straight wrist. We're keeping the elbows again tight into the torso, inhaling in neutral and exhaling, bending into the bicep curl, the 90-degree angle. This time we're going to keep the weights here, so we're going to keep those muscles working. This is a static work for the exercise, for the muscles, exercise for the muscles. They're making them work the whole time. So inhaling here in neutral, this time we're going to just rotate from the shoulders and move the weights to one side. Keeping the elbows tight to the torso, inhaling, coming back to the center, and exhaling, rotating to the other side. So the upper torso, the shoulders aren't moving, turning side to side, they're rotating in the shoulder socket. So coming forward and rotating to the side. Inhaling forward, exhaling, rotating to the side. And inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. And again, squeezing the belly button, using the abdominal muscles to complement this movement really helps. Bringing it back to the center and lowering down. And we'll bring those weights to the upper thigh again and shake our arms out. Now we're starting to feel like, wow, our muscles are doing some work in our upper bodies. Okay, very good. The last exercise we're going to do today is to take these weights into an overhead press. So that means we're going to lift them up overhead. We're going to do it one at a time because this is a more difficult move. And we need to condition our muscles to do this. So one at a time we'll use. So first of all, we'll take hold of the weights and drop them down to the side, sitting up nice and tall, rolling those shoulders back and down, taking a couple of breaths. We're inhaling here in neutral. We're exhaling, bending the elbows. We're going to bring these weights up to the shoulders, kind of settle them in there, let our elbows kind of settle in and get comfortable. Again, thinking about keeping that wrist in line with the forearm. We have a nice straight wrist joint there. Inhaling in neutral, as we exhale, we're going to push just one arm up toward the sky. So the knuckles are going up to the sky, and then we're lowering down on the inhale Moving to the other side, pushing the other knuckles up to the sky and lowering down. And of course, we keep a slight bend in the elbow. So when we push up, we're keeping that little bend. We don't go all the way, and lower down and push up and lower down. And exhaling on the push up, inhaling on the lower down, keeping those shoulders down away from the ears, pushing up. Even though we're pushing up, we're keeping the shoulder down. And I think that's probably enough. So let's gently lower the weights, nice and controlled. We don't let them just flop, and bring them to the upper thigh and shake it out. Very good. So we've worked a little bit of effort in our upper body, our upper arms and our shoulders, our abdominal muscles and our back muscles were helping us out too. So a lot of work going on there, even though we're sitting still in the chair, but we're still using our muscles. So we're done with the weights for right now. We're just taking them in our hands. We're going to bend forward and put them on the floor underneath our chair, or behind our feet at least, as far as we can get. But when we bend forward, we want to use a long spine. So hinging forward with a long spine, putting the weights on the floor, squeezing the belly button to lift up and sit tall. All right, shake it out. Very good. We'll just do a couple of stretches here for our arms and our shoulders so that we can relieve any tension we might have created by using the extra weights. So let's bring the arms down to the side, establish that good posture, bring that chin back and down, and breathe. Yes. I'm feeling a little bit fatigued now. We're almost to the end of class, so a little fatigue is setting in. So we're going to take one arm across the body, bring that shoulder back and down, a lot of space between the shoulder and the ear. Take the other hand, grab behind the upper arm, and then gently pull toward your chest. So once we gently pull toward the chest, we're creating a little stretch in the shoulder, both the back side and the front side. So let me turn around so I can show you. You want to stretch right here and a stretch right here. So pulling in toward the chest, and feeling that stretch, just breathing into it, letting it happen. Lots of space between the ear and the shoulder, so push that shoulder down, breathing. Ah, yes. Feeling good stretches there. Relieving the pressure on the muscles. We've made them work hard. Now we're stretching them out, giving them a break. And release that arm and shake it out. And take the other arm across. Pull the shoulder back and down, and then reach the hand behind the upper arm, pull toward the chest. Maybe you can see it on that side a lot better. And breathe into it. Let that shoulder come down away from the ear. Just feel the stretch. Breathe into the stretch. Enjoy it. Know that your muscles are thanking you for giving them this break. And release and shake it out. Very good. Okay, so we're ready to do our cool down exercises and finish class today. You're doing really well. You've made it this far. So this is the reward to do the relaxation part of it and really reap the benefits of all of the exercise we've done for our bodies today. So I say it's relaxing, but we're going to do one exercise that is a little bit more strength training for the abdominal muscles. Just one, but we can handle it. I know we can. So let's move off of our chair, move our chair out of the way, find our mats and place them on the floor. Now it's always your choice. You can stay in the chair if you want. If you're not ready to go to the floor yet, that's just fine. If you're a little bit afraid of getting down on the floor and back up, that's just fine. Later on in another class, I'm going to teach you the methods to get down to the floor and back up safely. So if you're feeling that it's not for you today, that's just fine. Just keep your chair, stay in your chair, and I will show you the modifications of the exercises we're doing on the floor to accommodate them in the chair. So, all right, another little break time to get our mat out and get it on the floor. We need to put our weights away. So, whoop, let's sit back down. I forgot, we need to put our weights away. We don't want to trip on them or lay on them. So we need to pick them up off the floor. So the safe way to do that is just like we put them down. We're hinging forward and reaching our hands down to pick up the weights and then bring them back up to our upper thigh. And then we can stand up just like we do normally. And lean forward. You can even use the weights for that and stand up out of the chair. And bring the weights back toward the chest, because when we're holding something heavy and we're moving it, we need to keep it close to the body. So let's move these weights and put them to the side, wherever they're away from our exercise area, out of our way. And I have to move my chair, so I'm going to do that. And then bringing out the mat, putting it on the floor. You might also want to bring a pillow with you. So bring the pillow if you think you need it, and I'll show you what to do with it to make these exercises more comfortable for you. So here we go. Just get set up. All right. So if you're going to the floor, make your way down there, nice and easy. Take your time. And sit on the mat with your feet pointed toward the short edge of the mat. If you're standing in the chair, then just sit in the chair, always toward the front edge of the chair, 90-degree angle with the legs, toes pointed straight ahead. You know the drill. Okay, so if you're in the chair and you want to use your pillow for a little bit more comfort, you're just going to put the pillow behind you, sort of stabilize the spine. And sort of now it's time to rest a little bit, so we want to let our spine kind of rest into that pillow. So that's just fine for these last exercises while we're sitting in the chair. So there we go. If we're on the floor and maybe we have a little difficulty in our hips sitting on the floor, we can actually just sit on the pillow. So there's a couple of advantages. One is for the comfort, and the other, just keeping the hips elevated makes some of the exercises a little bit easier on the body. So if we're on the mat, we can sit on the pillow or not. I don't use a pillow. At least I rarely use a pillow. So I'll show you how to sit on it, but then I'm going to take it away for myself. So I'm making my way down to the floor, sitting on the pillow. Legs are extended out straight ahead of me. Of course, if we're sitting in the chair, we have the 90-degree angle with the legs. Okay, so I'm sitting on top of the pillow. It's elevating my hips a little bit. It makes this movement with my legs out straight a lot easier on my hips. So the first thing we're doing is moving into a little bit of a strength exercise with our upper body. It's called staff position. And we want our legs out straight. Maybe we want to let there be a distance between our feet and our legs a little bit, so have a little opening there. Hands right here at the sides of the hips. Of course, we're going to come to good posture, so we want to lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and down, bring the chin in line. We're flexing our ankles and pointing our feet up to the sky, our toes up to the sky, and just breathing right here. We haven't yet moved into the strength part, but we have our hands right here by our hips. And the strength part is to just push down into the hands like we're trying to lift our hips up off of the floor. So once you push down into your hand, you feel a lot of muscle work in the upper arms and a little bit in the front of the chest. So just breathe through that, and then release it. Okay, we're going to do it one more time, and let me show you what it looks like on the chair. So if we're in the chair, we can put our hands right here on the chair, either the palms of your hands or the fingers and palms, whichever is more comfortable for you. Sometimes we have to find the comfortable position for our arms. So when we have our good posture and we have our hands in the right place, right by our hips, we inhale and exhale, push down into the hands like we're pushing up away from the chair, lifting our hips off of the chair and feeling that work in the upper arms and the chest, and then releasing. And we're doing the same thing on the floor. All right, so we're done with the staff position, upper body work, and we're lying down on our backs. So, of course, in the chair, we're not lying down, we're still sitting, maybe resting our spine on the pillow. On the floor, we're moving to lying down on our back. So, if you have the pillow under your hips, you might want to take it out for a second because you're going to adjust so you can lie down on your mat. So take it out, adjust, and then grabbing behind the upper thigh, we're going to lower down. You can bring a knee with you if you want. Lower down, nice and easy. The other way to do this is to, with your hands, to just sort of lower down, come to your elbows maybe, and then gently ease your shoulders down to the mat. So we always want it to be a gentle movement, so we're not going to injure anything. So if you want to keep your pillow with you, there's two places to put it when we're on the floor, lying on our back. One is under the hips, so we'll just kind of scoot it under the hips there. So it raises the hips so that the exercises we're about to do will be a little easier on the hip joints. So that's one place to put the pillow. If it's comfortable, leave it there. Another place to put the pillow is under the head, particularly if we have some spinal curvature that makes it uncomfortable for our head to lie back and into the flat mat. Then we want to put the pillow under our head. This particular pillow that I have is probably a little bit too big for under the head. It's probably a little bit too puffy. So if you certainly, if you need a pillow under your head, maybe find a little bit smaller pillow than the one that I'm showing you today. All right, so on the floor on our back, we're coming to what I call be kind to the spine position. So we want our knees bent up to the sky, our feet on the floor. We have a comfortable distance between our knees and our feet. And we're bringing our hands down to the sides of the body, but we want them out a little ways away from the body so that our chest can open, our shoulders can roll back and come in contact with the mat. So shoulders and shoulder blades resting on the mat. If we're sitting in the chair, we're just resting our good posture against the pillow or on the back of the chair for this be kind to the spine position. All right, so there's two more things we need to do and be kind to the spine position. One is to tuck the chin a little bit to get the neck in line with the spine. So we have a nice straight spine and neck extension. And then finally, we want to bring the lower spine in contact with the mat, taking the arch out of the lower back. We have kind of a natural arch there. Most of us do. Some people don't. Some people have a nice flat area from their lower back and into the hips, but most of us have a little arch there. So we want to take that arch out for purposes of our be kind to the spine position because we're trying to relieve tension from our spine here. So we're, again, rotating the pelvis so the pubic bone is pushing up toward the sky. And when we do that, we can bring that lower spine down into the mat, squeezing the belly button to hold it there. Now, it takes some practice to squeeze the belly button, keep it squeezed, and to also breathe. So we need to practice doing that today. So concentrate on squeezing and breathing at the same time. So just take a few breaths here. This is our be kind to the spine position. And the purpose of it is for back health, for relieving the tension in our spine. All right, and if we're sitting in the chair, we're sitting with our spine pushed back, actually our hips pushed all the way back into the chair or the pillow, and then relaxing the spine against the back of the chair. And just breathing. A couple more breaths here, and then we're going to go into one more exercise to work the abdominal muscles in the core. So if you're on the chair, unfortunately, you need to move back toward the front edge of the chair and reestablish your 90-degree angle with the legs and toes pointing straight ahead on your good posture. And take some breaths there while we get our alignment on the floor here. So on the floor, we are picking up both feet one at a time. Pick up one foot. Use your hand to grab behind the upper thigh. Pick up the other foot and grab behind the upper thigh. And then pull the knees into the chest. It gives a nice big stretch for the tailbone area. Really nice stretch there. And just breathe into it. If you're in the chair, you can only do this stretch one leg at a time. So you're picking up one foot off the floor, grabbing both hands behind the upper thigh, and then gently pulling that knee toward your chest. Hold it for a couple of breaths, and then lower that leg and move to the other leg. Pick the foot up off the floor, gently grab behind the upper thigh, and pull the knee toward the chest. On the floor, we have both knees pulled into the chest. On the chair, you have to do one at a time. All right, one more breath here, and then let's release the feet back to the floor and come back to be kind to the spine. If we're on the floor, if we're in the chair, we're just going to sit with nice tall posture. All right, okay, very good. Okay, we're moving into one more abdominal exercise. If we're on the floor, we're going to do something called marching. Actually, in the chair, we're going to march too. So if we're in the chair, we're sitting up with our nice posture, all that jazz. If we're on the floor, we're still in be kind to the spine position. On the floor, we're going to pick up both feet. Again, bring the hands to the back of the upper thigh to sort of stabilize that. And then try to bring the legs to it like we're sitting in a chair. So we're bending the knees, bringing the lower part of the leg down, flexing the ankles so we can keep our feet not so heavy. They're pretty heavy, and we're trying to hold them up, but if we flex our ankles, they're not quite as heavy. So you notice that you're getting some tension in the abdominal area just by doing this with your legs. So squeeze that belly button back to the spine. We want to keep that lower spine in contact with the mat. All right. So moving to marching, in the chair, you're actually going to just do a knee lift, just like we did before. Squeeze the belly button, lift the knee toward the chest, and then release the foot to the floor and release the belly button, and then squeeze again and lift and lower. On the floor, we're taking a heel down toward the floor. So we're moving our leg from the hip and then bringing it back to this chair position, and then moving to the other side, lowering the heel toward the floor, and then bringing the leg back to the chair position. So you notice to keep the spine on the floor, you have to squeeze the belly button even extra hard. So lowering down on an inhale, and we squeeze and lift on the exhale, and lowering down on the inhale, squeezing and lifting on the exhale. And just two more, lowering down and squeezing and lifting, and lowering down and squeezing and lifting. And let's release those feet to the floor and come back to be kind to the spine on the floor or good posture in the chair. And take a couple of breaths. Phew, that was big work. So take it easy. Right now, we'll just sort of relax our legs. So let's just let our knees wave from side to side in the wind. Just like the trees blowing in the wind. Just kind of relax the muscles in the legs. Little massage here in the hip area. Feels pretty good. Okay, on the chair, you can do the same thing. Just move your knees easily from side to side. And now, if you're in the chair, you're moving into some upper body spinal twists. So on the floor, we're doing a lower body spinal twist. So let me give you the information for the chair first. So if you're on the floor, just kind of hang out in your be kind to the spine position, and I'll demonstrate what happens in the chair. So when we're sitting in the chair with our 90-degree angle, toes pointed straight ahead, good posture, taking a breath or two, we're going to take our arms and cross them across our chest, one hand on each shoulder. Just let the elbows relax down. Still sitting up nice and tall. When we do this cross, our shoulders want to come forward, but we still have to keep the chest lifted up here. So just relaxing the arms down. All right, we're breathing. We're going to move the upper torso in a twist. So we're twisting the spine from the waist up. We're inhaling, lifting the chest, kind of lifting the rib cage up, and then turning the shoulders and head to look to the side. It's not a very big move. And inhaling back to the neutral position, and exhaling, turning to the other side. So the head goes with the shoulders, turning to the side, inhaling to the center, exhaling, turning to the side. Inhaling to the center, exhaling, turning to the side. So upper body spinal twist. Bring it back to the center and relax your arms. And then when we get going on the floor, then you can do it again in the chair. All right, so moving back to the floor here. And coming back to my Be Kind to the Spine position. So we're moving into, I'm gonna move my pull out of the way. We're moving into a lower body spinal twist. So we're gonna twist our body from the waist down. All right, so from our Be Kind to the Spine position, we're gonna bring our feet and knees together to touch. And then inhale our arms out to the side, away from the torso a little bit, turn our palms up. We're gonna get a little bit of a stretch in the upper part of the chest when we do this. Inhaling and exhaling. Still keeping our lower spine in contact with the mat, even though we've moved our feet and knees together to touch. We're inhaling in neutral, and as we exhale, we're just dropping our knees down to one side. One hip is going to come off and one foot come off of the mat as we do that, twisting at the waist. The shoulders and head are still staying on the floor. And we're inhaling back up to the neutral position. Hip and foot come back to the floor. And then exhaling, taking the knees to the other side. Lowering down. Hip and knee come on, foot come off of the floor. And inhaling, bringing the knees back up to neutral. So we simply go from side to side, letting the breath be the control. Inhaling in neutral, exhaling, dropping the knees to the side. Little spinal twist. Inhaling back to neutral, just let the breath set the rhythm. Exhaling, dropping the knees to the side. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. Nice, easy rhythm. Nice twisting, feeling a little bit of a massage for the lower spine here. Let's do one more. And we'll bring it back to neutral. Bring the knees back to neutral. Bring the arms down to the sides. Separate the knees and the feet and come back to our Be Kind to the Spine position. Now, if you're in the chair, you get to come to Be Kind to the Spine position too. So you want to shift your hips back all the way to the back of the seat so they're touching the back of the seat, and then sit up tall and just lay your spine right into the back of the chair for your Be Kind to the Spine position. And you can bring your hands and maybe rest them in your lap. You could interlace your fingers if you want to, or just let the hands be straight. Whatever feels comfortable. You could even leave them down at the sides, sort of dangling down at your sides. It's a personal choice, whatever feels comfortable to you. But now, in the chair, you're allowing your spine to relax into the back of the chair. So here we're taking a few breaths. I'm going to finish our class with just some nice, easy breathing. So if we're still in Be Kind to the Spine position on the floor, let's take our hands and just place the palms on our belly. Spread the fingers wide so that some of them are up toward the rib cage. Maybe the thumbs are up toward the rib cage and the fingers are pointing down toward the top of the upper thigh. And now just breathing and relaxing, and letting ourselves feel the movement of the breath through our bodies. So concentrating on the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. I didn't say that in a chair you can do this too. Of course you can do this too. Just place your hands on your belly and focus your attention on the breathing. So it starts at the nostrils. We feel the air coming in through the nostrils and moving out through the nostrils. We'll keep our mouth closed for this and just breathe through the nose. Inhaling and exhaling and feeling the movement of the air through the nostrils. Now there's more movement in the body as we breathe. We can feel the chest lift and lower as the air comes into our lungs and then back out again. But we can also feel it, if we take a nice deep breath, we can feel it in our belly through our fingers here. So let's inhale deeply, lifting the chest and the belly, and then exhaling slowly, emptying first the belly, then the chest, and feeling the air coming out through the nostrils. So inhale, feeling the air come into the nostrils, into the chest, into the belly, and then release it, belly first, chest, and nostrils. So just nice controlled breathing. Just feeling it happen in our bodies. Just a couple more breaths like this. You can even close your eyes if you want. Just trying to find a nice, relaxing breathing pattern. So just as important as it is for us to exercise and work our muscles, it's also important for us to relax, especially at the end of our workout. So this is a nice way to do it. Let's take one more active breath here. And just take a moment to acknowledge ourselves for doing something positive for our minds and our bodies today. It's always a good thing, and we can be proud that we did it. So we've come to the end of the class. Take your time making your way back up off the floor. You might even want to stay here for a little while longer. It's your choice. If you're in a chair, also take your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. And when you're ready to leave, have a great day. I need to move to stop this recording, but you can stay right where you are as long as you like. Bye for now.